Hey guys, this is Coach Mike Basevic with the Anxiety Free Executive, and I am honored to be with one of the world's rock stars, Phil Cooper. Phil has come through my program and is would like to share his story today, which I really appreciate. So, Phil, it's great to be with you. Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday to you too, Coach. And it's really wonderful to be with you and be able to share our story together and our victories and the journey we've been on together. I'm really appreciative of you allowing me to do this.
I appreciate that, and it's been such a great journey with you, and I love what I do because I get to come in contact with folks like you. And Phil is a financial advisor. He's a family man. He's the ultimate family man. You look up family man in the dictionary, I think his picture's there. But Phil's dedicated to his life to helping people get security through finances, grow their wealth, and enjoy their retirement, if you will. And he's really, really good at it. So, but you came to us, Phil, about what, 4 or 5 months ago, and
Yep.
struggling with some stuff, and you found us, I think, online like most people do.
Yep.
And I didn't do your intake call, your enrollment, your breakthrough call. I think that was Angie, if I'm not
As
mistaken.
Angie. Yeah. Yep. It
Yeah. And
was.
so tell me a little, tell us a little bit about your journey. What led up to you finding us, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Wow. I don't even know where that's a difficult thing to start. I'm 52 years old and didn't realize maybe the baggage that I had brought through 52 years.
Mm-hmm.
The, the, the thinking, the, being unaware of how I was thinking, I think was the number one thing, and just letting my mind go wherever it was going,
Mm-hmm.
waking up every day, doing the minutia, going through life, raising kids, paying the mortgage, building a business, and not capturing the direction that my mind was going. Didn't realize that I had brought from way, way, way back this set of beliefs
Mm-hmm.
that was dictating the direction I was going. And it felt to me like, Mike, that I was successful in business, successful in marriage, successful in parenting, but everything felt like I was pushing a plow uphill.
Okay.
It was just a grind, and no matter what I did, it was a grind. Well, after getting in the program, and maybe we could talk about how that even came to be, but after getting
Yeah.
in the program and realizing what you and I know as resistance,
Yeah.
and finding a way to accept through that resistance, having this freeing moment of just letting things go and letting them go where they're supposed to go, but capturing those thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and going where you want to go, not where your mind has been trained to go.
Yeah.
It's a 4 or 5 month journey, but it feels like for the first time in 52 years, I'm alive. I'm
Nice.
not pushing uphill anymore. I am living life. I'm free. I'm me again. And I didn't know what that felt like. It almost feels like I went back to my childhood when you were happy, you didn't have the responsibilities, and you just woke up and rode your bike in the summer and went to the pool and played baseball. That feeling had not been there for 40 years.
Wow.
And
That's
it was just
amazing.
grind and grind and grind. So now it's amazing to me to sit here 4 months or 5 months into this journey and go, I'm back to being the 10-year-old kid again. And it's a wonderful feeling.
That's great, Phil. We should all be the 10-year-old kid. That's what life's
Yeah,
supposed to be, right? We
absolutely.
have, excuse me, we have responsibilities. We're raising families. We're trying to be successful in life. And then life just builds up on us. And like you,
Mm.
we go back to childhood and we think, yeah, some of that stuff could certainly hit us, whether it's, tensions in the household or pressure we put on ourselves, and it just builds on us. And then we don't, we lose that childhood innocence and that happiness and fun because we are happiness seeking beings. So my childhood was stable, wonderful mom who did whatever she could for us. And then dad, he was the belt yielding, and so that environment was toxic. So I woke up in my 20s, anxiety, stress, overwhelm,
Yeah.
affecting my mind, affecting my happiness, affecting my results. And then pretty soon my health started to suffer and everything imploded, right? So I think your journey was somewhat similar, right? I mean, some challenges in childhood, and then it just builds as you go, right?
It did. And my childhood was not calm.
Mm-hmm.
We were There was a revolving door of fathers, quote unquote fathers, in my life.
Yeah.
By the time I moved out of high school, my family had moved 22 times,
Oh
and
my
it was
gosh.
literally when the rent was due, we were being forced out to the next
Oh,
place. That was the life I grew up in. A lot of abuse, a lot of drug abuse, alcohol abuse. One of my fathers was involved in a murder, and we lived in small town central Illinois, and you can imagine that just
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
knows your business. So
Yep.
you come to the point in your life when you realize you are nothing more than a product of your upbringing. You're nothing more than a product of what you were
Yeah.
taught to think, and you bring those thoughts forward. And here I was at 52 years old, waking up one day going, why do I feel like this? Well, I never did the work because I didn't know. I was out of ignorance. I didn't know how to do the work
Yeah.
to get myself removed from those ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Now I broke
What
the
were some of
chains
those
of
things?
that.
What was going on in your mind when you found us?
Oh man.
Whatever you feel comfortable with sharing, but what was
Yeah,
going
no,
on?
I want to be an open book because I want whoever's listening to this, Mike, I want them to realize that you can get to a pretty bad place.
Yeah.
Anxiety to the point of sickness, depression to the point of debility, not being able to get out of bed, not being able to be the husband, not being able to be the father, not being able to be the executive of your business, whatever it is you do, completely debilitating to the point of not, I'm not going to say that I had thoughts of ending my life, but for the first time in my life, I found a crack in my foundation. And that was a dear friend of mine took his life in the last several months. And for the first time in my life, I said these words, and I said, I don't think I would ever do that, but I could understand how he could. Just by me saying, I understand a person wanting to commit suicide, realized that was a crack in my foundation. I should not even have those thoughts where I could even understand that. It ought to be on the other side of that, where I go, why would a man never reach out? Why would he carry so much pain?
Yeah.
Why would he not seek help? Instead, I went, I get it. And that scared me to death. It scared me to think, okay, if I have that way of thinking, then the next logical thing is you start to pursue that and try to find a way of relieving the pain.
Yeah.
That's how desperate I was when I found this program.
Wow. That's powerful, Phil. Thanks for sharing, because this is going to help so many people, and people suffer silently, right? They're bottling that stuff inside. I'm sure your friend, maybe people noticed it, maybe people reached out, but they probably didn't have an understanding of how deep and dark it was. And when your mind goes there, it could be a very ugly place, obviously. What steps did you take before you found us, right? So, we're taught, therapy, or maybe, handed a prescription for prescription drugs and things. So what steps did you take prior to that?
I think it would be a lot simpler conversation to let you know the steps I didn't take. It's a lot shorter list.
So everything.
I went to medical doctors. I went to counselors. I was prescribed antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicine. I found one of those moments through the antidepressant medication. I found myself laying on the floor of the very room that I'm sitting in, by the way.
Wow.
Just laying on the floor, not able to get up because of the way the medicine was affecting me. I went to friends. I went to my pastor. I went to the church. I went to my wife. I went to my kid. I mean, it's just, you name what I tried it all. Sleep, extra sleep, tried exercise. I tried diet. Maybe there's something in my diet. Maybe I got a gluten problem. I mean, I went from gamut to gamut, man. I covered it.
Yeah.
And found zero relief in any of that. And that exacerbated the problem, because the less and less and less I was finding success in the seeking of this, the more frustrated and depressed I would become, thinking, what is really wrong with me? I am desperate here. Maybe I would be better if I was gone.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people that come to our program, when they get to that point, Phil, they're first of all, they're skeptical. I don't know the level of skepticism you had, but like, okay, and then they feel like, what's the point? And maybe I won't wake up tomorrow. And and it's just because it's so difficult to live in that space. And I know it firsthand. You know what I mean? As I said, my journey that brought me here was my early adult life, and it's a dark place to live, and it's a struggle, because you want to impact lives. You're a family man. You're trying to help people. You're trying to live as your best self, and you just can't get there. And you're doing everything that society tells you to do, and you're taking those dangerous prescription drugs, right? And nothing's changing, right? So, and then when you came in the program, I knew immediately you're just a likable guy, and so I was thrilled to have you in the program. But even that was a struggle, because your mind was running the program that has been running for 50 years. and you're trying to break through, and we're trying to retrain your mind, recondition it, get rid of this virus. But even the first, 6, 8 weeks was a struggle for you to reach your footing. Is
It
that
was miserable. Yeah, I was uncommitted to the work. I I mentally committed and didn't actually do it. And I found out I was just doing nothing more than just trying to modify my behavior, realized that wasn't working. You can't try modification of behavior and figure out that unless you dig down and find out what's actually going on. I was doing nothing more than just cutting the limb off of a bad tree and realizing, why is the tree still in my life? Because you didn't cut the roots out of it, dummy. Well, I didn't know how to go down to the roots.
right? Right.
So when I came into the program, yes, I was skeptical. I did what everybody did. Here's how I found the program. I decided one night to do mindless activity and just scroll through social media, like, just
Yeah.
give me something I can, give me a cat
Mhm.
video, give me something I can just, and an ad came up. I have no idea to this day why I responded to the ad. I do. I mean, at this point of my journey, I know why I responded to it. But at that point in my life, it was just like, let's try one more thing. Let's click one more button. Let's get one more thing in my life.
Wow.
And that took me down a road I never dreamed I would be on, which is now 4 or 5 months down the road. And by the way, just so everyone else knows, I know you know this, Coach, but those medications are out of my life. I am flowing. I am happy, and it's not false anymore. It's not made up by some prescription drug of some kind. It's none of that. So here I am sitting here a few months removed from the darkest points of my life to now a mountaintop experience. It's pretty awesome.
That is incredible. And yeah, and it's tough when and Phil, congratulations, by the way, especially that last part, with getting off the prescription drugs. The self-medicating, we're handed these drugs like it's going to solve the problem, but they don't. And I understand if it's a dangerous situation to get somebody out of danger, but we are handing these things out like candy in this country, and it is changing people's brain chemistry, and they're dangerous. And I am a big opponent of them because they're overprescribed. Like I said,
Absolutely.
dangerous situation, I get it, but whether you're self-medicating with alcohol, street drugs, prescription drugs, cigarettes, food, exercise, just trying to feel better every day, that's not the way you're supposed to live. And I went looking for you a couple months into the program because I instantly liked you, and I love every one of my clients, as you know. I mean, and every one of them matters, and when they make this commitment to the program. But I went looking for you. I'm like, all right, Phil, we've got to do this, because I knew that you were committed, but I knew that but I know how the mind works. The mind will literally keep you from taking the answer, keeping you from doing the work, because the mind is a machine, and it'll do whatever you've trained it to do. And so 50 years of training, it's literally, its job is to keep you depressed, to keep you anxious. And so, and that's when I went looking for you. So I feel we're going to commit to this. And man, did you commit. And for the last 2.5, 3 months, Phil, you have been like, you check in with me daily on Voxer when we have that communication. You check in with me weekly on your calls, and you've been a rock star. So what does it feel differently? How does your mind feel differently? How does the emotions feel differently? And then even tell us, what your family life is like. Because I know you got the kids, the grandkids, your beautiful wife, Kelly. And so tell us all about that.
I think there's two answers in that. The first one is, how do I feel? That I'm going to be cautious on how I go through that one, because I feel like over the last 52 years, there have been times that I didn't know how I felt. Kelly, my wife, Kelly, would say, how you doing? And I was like, I don't know. Are you sad? I don't know. Are you depressed? I don't know. Are you anxious? I don't know. I wasn't right. I couldn't verbally describe the emotion. I just knew it was a wrong emotion. That's all I knew. It was something taking me someplace really dark. I couldn't be the father, the husband, the grandfather. I was so removed from anything that I always dreamed of and worked towards. That's gone. Whatever that was is gone. And I'm engaged. I am a husband again. I am a father again. I am a grandfather again. I'm engaged in my business at a deep level. So I don't know how to tell you what that was. I just knew that it was like, there was a darkness standing there with me that has now been removed. I know that. And then the thing that I think the greatest thing that I have experienced is the unsolicited affirmations from those that are closest to me. What I mean by that, I don't go to them and say, hey, do you see anything different in me? It's unsolicited. They come to me and they say, Dad, what's going on? You're back. My oldest daughter said, my daddy's back. My daddy's back. And for the longest time, she kept saying, I miss my dad. I just miss my dad. It's not the dad that she knew growing up. So my wife, honey, you're back. Look, you're wanting to do things. You're out of bed early. We're on the go. We're experiencing life. I bought a Harley and I've got this midlife crisis going on, and we're riding bike all over the place. We're chasing my son playing baseball. I'm out playing catch with him again. Before it was, Dad, you want to play catch? Oh, bud. And I would make up every excuse in the world. My back hurts. My this hurts. I got to do this. I don't know how to explain all that except to say whatever it was is gone. And whatever it is who I want to be and what I've always dreamed of being and who I've always wanted to be. And that unsolicited affirmation from those closest to me, that's gold, man.
That is beautiful, buddy. Man, so well described. And man, it's an emotional thing when you said, hey, my daughter, my dad's back. And you have the ability to show your children, hey, whatever it is, okay, we're going to find the answer. We're going to work through it. And it's amazing. And just imagine now, just the impact that you're the greater impact, because when we don't take care of ourselves, right. And it wasn't from a lack of trying, Phil. I mean, you were the rock star in trying to find the answer, trying to solve the problem. When we're not able to take care of ourselves and we're running at a low bandwidth, we can't impact those people that are depending on us.
Right.
All of your clients, your family, your kids, your grandkids, your community. And now as your best self, because of the work that you've done, you're able to impact all those people and really enjoy life that you've built. You've worked your butt off, and your story is like my wife's story. I mean, she moved, I think, 15 times before she was 18. Wow. And she's the rock of stability in life. So she's like that but she had some gremlins that she had to get rid of too. And it's just, we all have that journey, right, Phil? We all have that. We're born into this, like that 10-year-old kid you described. We're just happy. We're looking to seek. You look at little kids, they go to the playground, they'll play with anybody who's there, and they'll make friends and they'll figure things out. And they go from this experience to the next experience, but they're always seeking adventure and happiness and exploring. Yes. And then we're conditioned into this stuff, right? And it's well-meaning parents sometimes, or the complete chaos, right? And but we're conditioned to become what we are, and the mind is just a machine. It's a hard drive running. And everything that's inputted creates that. And people, we really do our damnedest to make sure that people understand, hey, we could change the mind. You don't have to live with anxiety. You don't have to live with depression. I just saw an article that Kelly handed me last night, and people that Howie Mandel is living a nightmare every day, and his daughter has anxiety. So we immediately reached out to America's Got Talent. We reached out to him on his page, and we hope that we can get in touch with him, because people need to understand that this is not the way to live, to distract yourself, to push that cart up the hill, as you mentioned, and to distract yourself from these things so you could survive every day. So what would you tell somebody who's in that place that you were in, that, okay, you've tried everything, you're skeptical, or this guy's it's funny when people find us on the internet, oh, he's just an internet guy. Well, you know that's not the truth, but what would you tell people that are struggling, that think there are no answers out there, and what they could see on the other side of that?
Yeah, you're sitting there telling yourself there's no answers. It's a flat out lie. It is a flat out lie. I'm living proof that 50 years of junk can be removed. I'm living proof that the second chapter of my life, and I don't know how many years I've got left, but I know I'm probably somewhere in the second half of my life, at 50 years old. And I told my wife recently this, Mike, I said, the first chapter of the book is closed. The second chapter is going to be full of joy, full of happiness, full of peace, full of victories. And boy, you wake up now and you're like, that's that 10-year-old boy that's back. I get out of bed and I'm ready to go. I'm telling you, if you're sitting there saying to yourself, there's no hope, because I've tried it all, Phil, and there's no hope, it's bunk. That's a lie that's up here. It's a lie. You just haven't gone the right direction is all. Don't go down the road of the traditional stuff. It doesn't work.
I love it.
Go down the road of finding what Mike is teaching here. But second person I want to talk to on that is, you might be listening to this and it may not be you that's dealing with this, but you've got a family member. You've got like me, I had a desperate wife, not desperate in our marriage, not desperate in those kind of things. She was desperate to try to find relief for the man she fell in love with and wanted him back. And when I said to her, hey, I found this thing called Coach Mike, I found this thing. Her only answer was, do it. I said, well, what if it's expensive? Do it. She was as desperate as I was. She wanted me back. So you maybe one or two people listening to this, and maybe the one that's silently suffering, you know, that Robin Williams wanted everyone else to be happy, but inside was miserable. My friend, I told you, Mike, that took his life, he was the number one. Everybody knew him as the guy that wanted to reach into your life and change your life, but inside he was full of just pain and took his own life. So it's a lie. There is hope, and that hope is sitting right here in this message. Number two is, if you're that person looking for you're desperate looking for a family member, plug them in. Just flat out plug them in and get. Life is out there. Life is ready to be returned to you. You just have to do the right things.
I love it, Phil. Thank you. That's so beautifully stated. I can't even add to that. It's just wonderful. And thank you. And it's just, I'm just so blessed to work with folks like you, everyone in our community. I thank God every day. I'm so grateful for our community and the impact. And I love this story, and I'm watching, you know, I know you've got baseball with Mac this weekend, and
yes,
and I always tell you, send me some pictures, because I was the former baseball, softball coach. I love those tournaments, and it's not good for the diet though. The hot dogs and all the stuff that you do.
Nothing better than a ballpark hot dog, man.
Yeah, and Phil, and I love it. And this video is going to help people, but the impact that you're going to have in this second chapter, right? And I went through, and I was in my 30s, and I said, enough. This can't be the end of my journey. This can't be the end of my story. Everything fell apart. Everything was bad. And I was that guy that was happy outwardly and outgoing, and I knew I had to find the answer. So when someone comes into our program and I say, listen, I'm gonna get you healthy. I'm gonna commit. We're gonna do this together. It's very important to me. And then somebody like yourself, and then this ripple effect to all of your employees, all of your clients, your family, Kelly, the kids, the grandkids. And it's just going to keep expanding, and that's how we change things, and that's how I change my world. And I'm just so grateful for you and for Kelly for telling you to do it. And I can't wait to meet her in person. I hope she's coming with you to the July event in our area here in Chicago. And I'm just so thankful for you, buddy. So thank you so much, Phil, for sharing your story. And
thank you for impacting
so many lives. Oh, my pleasure, buddy. So have a great weekend, right? Enjoy the baseball, and let's get a tournament win.
All right. May I say one last thing? I want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
Please, whoever's listening to this, don't listen to it and turn it off. Please take action. There's a life out there for you. Go grab it.
Thanks, buddy. And that's so true. And life is meant to be enjoyed, right? It's meant to be happy, like that 10-year-old kid just perfectly described. So, all right, buddy. Thanks, Phil. Have a great weekend, my friend. And I'm sure I'll talk to you later today. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Sounds great.
All right, bye-bye.